come up here, they've never passed well. And he said that they have to be able to do that today. And I feel in order to pass well, they have to be able to run well, too. They have to have some balance because they aren't just going to pass against this defense.
Ryan Longwell kicks it off, and that's Aaron Stecker at the 10. And Stecker, who went to high school here in Green Bay. Let's have a look at that Tampa Bay offensive line. First of all, Walker, McDaniel, Jeff Christie, Posey Coleman, and Jerry Wunsch. He had to get 80 tickets for this game. Wunsch did. He went to Wisconsin. Anthony and Dunn and Allstott and Moore and Keyshawn Johnson, who leads the NFC in receptions and yardage but hasn't scored a touchdown. Brad Johnson is the quarterback. His first year at the helm of the Buccaneers. At the 32. Allstott in front of Dunn. Warwick Dunn. Maybe a yard. Here's the Green Bay defensive unit. Anchored by a big Gilbert Brown, Bonnie Holiday, Santana Dotson, the ex-Buck, and John Theory, the ex-Bear. Wayne Harris and Diggs. The linebackers, Williams, Sharper, Butler, and McKenzie. Butler has a bruised chest, so we'll keep an eye on him and see how long he can last. 3 wide receivers for Tampa Bay.
And the Bucs wish they had kept an eye on him in the first down because he blitzed.
Down goes Johnson. Lost the ball, I believe, momentarily, but got it back.
Santana Dotson, number 71, fired up. You're going to see him here. Gilbert Brown right there getting a big push up the middle. And you see that's exactly what happens. He gets pressure from his left side. And then see he tries to get back out of there. Now watch, he's going to trip right here. He trips over his right tackle.
Jerry Wunsch.
Local guy you were just talking about, yeah. Jerry Wunsch. But that wasn't Wunsch's fault. Wunsch had pretty good position there. But Tony Dungy was just saying they want to get off to a fast start. Those first 2 plays weren't a fast start.
Shotgun this time. Johnson is taken down. The ball comes out, but he was down. It's Kabir Bajamia-Miller.
And Biamilla is just starting out where he left off last week. Or last game. Here he is. Bajamia-Miller right there. You see he's on Kenyatta Walker. He gives him a bull rush that time. Yep. Boom, just straight into him square, and then uses his speed to go around him. Sometimes you use your speed right now. Sometimes you start off with a bull rush. Bajamia-Miller, you started off with a bull rush that time.
And good coverage downfield because Johnson had time. Short kick to Allen Rossum. And Rossum taken down from behind. Looked like he might have something developing. That's Nate Webster who got down and got him.
See, you're talking about the coverage here, Pat. You see, it's just a 3-man line. Here's Bajamia-Miller over there. So you see that they're going to have 8 guys in coverage. You see, so this is tough to throw into anyway because you see they have that zoned all the way there, and that gives Bajamia-Miller a little extra time to get to Brad Johnson. But that's a tough thing when you only have 3 or 4 out, and you're trying to throw into an 8-man zone.
And you still get good pressure. Here's Favre back to throw it. Pass complete to Freeman. A Green Bay first down. Favre hits his first. The offensive line, and Tony Dungy really has respect for this group. Clifton, Wall, Flanagan, Rivera, and Tauscher. Corey Bradford starting in place of Bill Schrader. Amon Green, William Henderson, the running backs. Bubba Franks, the tight end, and Freeman, who just made that reception, the other wide out.
Brett Favre's record at home, and he's a different quarterback here.
Amon Green to the Tampa Bay 35. Let's look at their defense. Rice, Sapp, Canada in place of McFarland. The linebackers, Brooks, Duncan, and Quarles. And the defensive backs, Barber, Dexter, Jackson, Lynch, and Brian Kelly.
Brian Kelly starting for the second week in place of Donnie Abraham. Brian Kelly just beat out Donnie Abraham.
Lynch comes up on first down. forward.
You know, that's what we call the yak, the yards after contact. In other words, how many yards does a ball carrier get after the initial contact? Mon Green is one of the leaders in all of football in that area. In fact, Mike Sherman was telling us just a few weeks ago that every time he's hit, in the process of his falling, he gains 2 yards.
Another first down for Green Bay. And Favre decides on the shotgun. A unique shotgun because the backs are behind him. And the handoff is to Amon Green.
And that's exactly why the backs are behind him. You know, usually the quarterback will be deeper than the back, so that means that every time you get in shotgun, unless it's some kind of draw, it's going to be a pass. So if you look here, you see with him up here and the back's deeper, now he can take the ball here and still hand off because the back is behind him. So he uses under ball handling right there. Then the other thing that he can do is he can fake that and have a keeper or bootleg.
Lynch was up from the safety position to stop that run by Green. 2nd and 9. Favre dropped it to Green. One-handed catch. Not enough for a first, and he took a shot from Lynch.
Now, if you're going to do anything, you got to block this guy, Warren Sapp, right here. Now, when we're talking to Mike Sherman, he says we're going to have 4 hands on him all the time.
They had 6 that time.
They started off with Marco Rivera, and he was 2, and then Flanagan brought 2 more. Look at Brett Favre there, Pat. He's so relaxed in his first quarter, he didn't even put his chin strap on. That's just only Brett Favre could break down and say, I don't need a chin strap.
3rd and short. Green again. And he carries him for enough, apparently, for another first.
And we look here that, Brett Favre broke his chin strap, and he's trying to tell the sideline that I need a new chin strap. This thing's broken. That's Chad Clifton, the left tackle, who's down. Chad Clifton is a second-year guy who's really coming along. In fact, this offensive line is a pretty good and young offensive line.
Favre has taken care of that problem with the chin strap with another helmet. This is painful.
You know, that's been one of the strengths of this team is the 2 young defensive tackles, Mark Tauscher, who's also from the University of Wisconsin, in the process of this going on, and then Chad Clifton, a second-year guy, and he was the higher draft choice, but Tauscher started first, and at the end of last year, they were both starting.
Weather, I hate to keep talking about that, but you think about November in Green Bay, and there's Chad Clifton.
And you can see it's his left ankle. Watch Chad Clifton right there. You see, he gets rolled up upon on that left ankle. He gets rolled on. He gets rolled up upon it.
Rolled up upon is good. You just don't think about it as football. Freeman down. Strike from Favre.
Well, Pat, I think the answer is they're rested. You said, are they rusty or are they rested? And the Green Bay Packers on this initial drive, they look rested.
From 21 yards out.
Now watch Brett Favre. He gives a little pump fake to the right just to hold that safety in the middle because he knows where he's going. He's gonna come right back here to Antonio Freeman. Antonio Freeman gives a couple boom to the left, boom to the right, and then it runs right on by. And Brett Favre looked off just enough to keep the safety in the middle.
And nobody else could throw that pass quite that well.
Over the years,
Abdullah up to the 30 or close to it. The ball must have come loose. It's a scramble, but it's Buccaneer ball with the Packers leading 7-0. Green Bay leading 7-0. Brad Johnson, Jameel Cook in front of Mike Allstott in the backfield.
And this is where they want to start pounding or faking the pound.
the Green Bay tacklers. Let's go down to Ron Pitts.
Well, Pat and John, you saw what happened to Chad Clifton, the Packer left tackle. He rolled up that ankle. They're icing it right now. He is questionable. Going to keep an eye on him to see if they can bring him back in the football game. And regarding Brett Favre's helmet, well, he broke a snap. They didn't want to try to mess around and fix it, so they just got him the backup helmet until they can get the other one fixed. It's always good to have a backup. Pat?
All right, Ron, familiar territory for Ron Pitts. He played here, and his father played here. Elijah Pitts on those great Lombardi Packer teams.
Remember Elijah Pitts telling us the first play he ever played was a kickoff returning. You kicked off.
Yeah. Cook out of the backfield. They were telling us yesterday that Cook has good hands. He wins 240.
We talked about Jameel Cook before. You see, he's the fullback, and he goes out like he's going to be a lead blocker. But the one thing, he's a rookie out of Illinois, and the thing that impressed the Bucs about him all along is not only can he block, but he's a good receiver.
Good with hands.
Well, you know, he played at Illinois there for Ron Turner, who is Norv Turner's brother, and kind of uses that passing game, West Coast offense. So he's a fullback who can also catch coming into the pros.
Johnson back to throw it. Incomplete. Keyshawn Johnson, the target. Brad Johnson thought he was going to keep coming, and he stopped.
Yeah, I think he threw it. Keyshawn Johnson thought he was going to get it to his outside or his right side. He threw it to his inside. Tyrone Williams had the position on the inside, and that was thrown closer to the corner, Tyrone Williams, than it was the receiver, Keyshawn Johnson.
2nd and 10.
This is not buck ball. 2nd and 10 is not buck ball.
No.
3rd and 10 is really not buck ball.
All stop. Well, it's going to be 3rd and 10.
And this is a fired-up Packer defense.
Yep.
I mean, you can tell when you see like 5 or 6 green jerseys in on every play, and led by Gilbert Brown. I mean, you're not going to get much movement. I mean, this is what Gilbert Brown is in there for, to stop this. Hold that point. Hold that hole. There's no cutback when Gilbert Brown is in there. Gilbert's lost about 40 or 50 or 60 or 70 pounds or whatever, but he's still a rather bulbous man.
Rather bulbous is good. Good description.
But he's a good football player who has quick feet.
They show blitz. Incomplete. Riddell Anthony, the target. Flag on the play.
It's going to be against the Bucs. That'll be turned down by the Packers.
Johnny Greer, the referee.
Well, it won't be because it was probably before the snap. So the play was, he probably whistled the ball dead. But you know what happened on that play? The Packers were coming on a blitz.
To 7:07.
Yeah, see, Johnny Greer wants the game clock to go back to 7:07 because the whistle was blown. You hear the whistle right there. The whistle was blown before the ball was snapped. You see, in fact, it was on Brad Johnson. He started to move backwards.
Johnson gets a free down, and he's going again. That's Warwick Dunn, whose head was almost removed. And the Bucs will have to punt again.
But on that play before that was blown dead, one of the things Brad Johnson says is there are some keys. And he said when they blitz, he said that's when I want to get the deep ball. And he said I have to make 3 or 4 of those plays during this game.
Allen Rossum back deep. For Mark Royals punt. Doesn't get all of it, but he takes a Buccaneer bounce. And rolls dead at about the 10, where Green Bay will take over with their 2nd possession of this contest.
There's going to be a battle all day. You see, Warren Sapp and Brett Favre, not only does Sapp chase him all day, but he talks to him all day.
Here's Favre. That's that play you were talking about, and he gets the first down out to the 25. Just shy of the 25.
That's the old keeper. You know, you always check the end man on the line of scrimmage. I'll tell you what the whole thing is keyed on. It's right here, the end man on the line of scrimmage. if you start your back this way and he comes here, then you know that you got a keeper to his side. But you key this guy right here. He has contained. You see what he does? Whoops. And that's exactly what he says, or something like that, when the quarterback gets the keeper outside him. It's usually like a big old oops. And now watch Simeon Rice. That'll slow him down.
He's got to back out of there. The zone blitz. Pass knocked away by Kelly. Brian Kelly.
Yeah, he looked like he was a little too cool on that play.
Yeah,
I mean, he had pretty good position. I don't know that he couldn't have maybe intercepted that ball.
That's a pretty good...
That's a good play to knock it down, but he looked like he was satisfied to knock it down.
Well,
that's easy for me to say, though. Huh?
Just been starting for 2 weeks.
Yeah, but he plays a lot. I mean, he was a nickelback, and the thing is, he beat out Donnie Abraham, and last year, Donnie Abraham was in the Pro Bowl.
So he looks pretty cool. That's Amon Green. Nothing doing.
And he ran right into John Lynch. You know, we always talk about 8 men up, and when you bring your 8th man up, the 8th man is a safety. And when it's a safety, it's going to be John Lynch. And you're going to see, here's John Lynch right here. And he's like half safety, half linebacker. Good-looking guy, kind of clean dirt. And he is a tough guy. And he gets right in the hole. You just see him.
When the safety that comes up, the 8 in the box, all that stuff we talk about, and it's number 47, John Lynch. He's up there to hurt somebody, do some damage.
Yeah, I mean, he's a hitter. The thing that he talks about is you always hit through something. And John Lynch does as good a job as hitting through stuff as anyone.
This time he's dropping deep. Amon Green makes the reception. Gets up to the 40. And on 3rd and long, the Packers get it. Jamie Duncan.
I was just going to say, anytime that they get in 3rd and long, see, Pat, this is where you say Lynch was deep here. This is what they call the cover 2 shell. Now, anytime they're in a cover 2 shell, they think that they can get these checkdowns or check-throughs because everyone gets so deep that they vacate that area. Now, watch the area. You see how deep they get? And then they vacate this area here, and the Packers feel that that's the way to get 1st down.
And they just got one.
But Amon Green has to make a run, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have to miss a tackle.
15-yard pickup. Green. By Jamie Duncan.
Yeah, the linebackers of these Buccaneer teams are so fast that it's tough to outrun them. You know, that's the old thing that you try and do. And Amon Green has speed and tries to use that speed to get to the outside, but Jamie Duncan has speed.
All those
Derek Brooks has speed.
All those guys are about the same size, and they can all run, as you say.
Yeah, but none of them could run like Brooks. I mean, Brooks is the guy that he's a little banged up this year, but when he's healthy, he can run better than any linebacker in all the football.
Here's Favre. Pass is picked off by Ronde Barber. The Buccaneers thought they could get some, and they just got one.
There's Monty Kiffin, and he told us last night, he said Brett Favre is going to throw 4 or 5 passes in this game that we can intercept. He said we have to make the plays. They just did the first one.
The pass was an incomplete pass.
Tampa Bay is challenging that? I don't believe that.
No,
Green Bay.
Green Bay is challenging. Here it is right here. Ronde Barber has great coverage on Antonio Freeman. Gets a little push there, gets underneath. Now, he didn't have control up on top, but remember they put that new rule in. If you have control of the ball, part of the football can touch the ground. So he doesn't have control here. So he doesn't have control of the ball here. Now, does he get control of it before he goes to the ground?
Well, he's got his arms under it.
Yeah, but part of the ball does hit the ground.
The point of the ball, yeah, you're right.
But that's okay now.
Yeah.
See, because if you have control of the ball, part of the football can touch the ground. And now watch Antonio Freeman. He saw that ball there. Now watch him run off here. He's going off to tell him that, hey, challenge this thing. That ball hit the ground. That's not an interception. Although if you have to say, now remember, it has to be indisputable evidence.
Yeah.
They say that it was an interception. I don't think there's enough evidence here to change the play.
Not indisputable.
See, because now part of it can touch, and you can see the tip of the ball touch.
Now he rolls his body under it.
Yeah, but then when the tip of the ball touched, did he have control? If he had control of the ball and the tip of the ball touched, it's okay.
After reviewing the play, the ball touched the ground prior to the interception. The pass is ruled incomplete. The ball will be third down for Green Bay on the 44-yard line.
So Mike Sherman was right. Antonio Freeman was right.
We were wrong.
The ball back.
And I was wrong. I thought he intercepted it.
Yeah. I mean, you look like it did look like he intercepted it. I don't know that. I mean, I still don't know that you were wrong. If that's what you said. I don't know if I was wrong. If that's what I said.
Well,
but it has to be indisputable. I guess in Johnny Greer, the referee, I guess in his eyes, that was indisputable evidence.
Third down. They're coming. And this is going to be against the
Packers.
Packers.
Snap. Ball start. Number 62. Offense. Still third down.
Marco Rivera.
Yeah, that's the thing. Usually when you go in the shotgun, you go on a silent count. So you don't have a snap count for the line the way you do when the quarterback is under center. And it's based on when the center snaps the ball. Now watch, we see a shotgun again here. The quarterback, Brett Favre, will move his foot. And then anytime after that, the center, Mike Flanagan, can snap the ball.
Shotgun for Favre, and he drops it underneath. And Amon Green is stopped by Sheldon Quarles, short of the first down right now for a game break. Let's go to James Brown in Los Angeles.
Hey, Pat, take a look at this Dallas defense. Last week forcing 4 fumbles against the Cardinals. Here forcing one. Chris forces the fumble. Noble recovers it, and the Cowboys capitalize. Sterner looking awfully efficient. 6 of 6. Here hooking up with Jordy Galloway. 10-0 Cowboys. Back to Pat and John.
Oh, what happened to the Giants?
I don't know.
Let's go!
You used to play for them.
What happened to their defense? That's Carl Williams, and there's a flag on the play.
Yeah, we were talking about those interceptions that Brett Favre throws. And Tony Dungy put together a tape this season of 32 balls that Brett Favre has thrown that should have been intercepted, and he showed it to his team. So, and then he said, you know, that averages over 5 per game. And he showed him that every game that happens. And it's happened 32 times this year of balls that
During the run back,
be intercepted.
holding number 20 of the receiving team.
That's Rondé Barber again.
Rondé Barber was the guy that made the play. You think like you can see him hold right there. He was the guy that made the interception. He's one of what they call the jammers.
That's a pretty good hold there. That's not a jam.
No, well, it starts off as a jam and then ends up
jam. All start. It appears is going to be the deep back, and Jameel Cook will be the other running back. And that's the way they set up. All start. Behind the line.
Boy, they're giving them nothing in there. You know, you talk about those jammers. They're the 2 outside guys that hold up the outside guy on a punt return. And Mike Sherman was telling us his first year as an assistant with the Green Bay Packers that they had an offensive line coach named Tom Levatt, and he'd always say, watch the jammers on every punt. So Mike Sherman would watch the jammers. He'd take down notes. And he said he did it game after game after game, and Levatt never said, how are they doing? And so one day he said, why doesn't anyone ask me how they're doing? He said, I'm not saying watch him, I'm saying watch out for him. I got hit in a game once.
The things you get assigned to do, and that's a grounder, a bouncer.
Yeah, the stuff that goes on the sideline.
Yeah.
Remember on the sideline, the Green Bay sideline, the last game that we did? Their special teams coach, Frank Novak, got hit with a ball right in the heart. And they went down, and they thought that he had a heart attack. And it was a snapper
there he is.
that was practicing. There's Frank Novak right there.
And the deep snapper was practicing.
Yeah, Rob Davis was practicing, and Frank Novak walked right into it, hit him right in the heart, and he went down, and they thought he was having a heart attack.
Holding or something, a flag comes down from Johnny Greer.
Yeah, that's an illegal motion, again, against the offense, and the whistle
Prior to the snap, false start, number 67, offense.
Kenyatta Walker.
Kabir Bajabiamila, you see, here's how you deal with him. If you can't block him, you just grab his face mask, and Kenyatta Walker is going to have a long day.
So they got to get him some help.
Yeah, they have to. I mean, they have to, Chip, put a tight end on that side, do something.
It's 3rd and long, 17.
And here's Bajabiamila right there, and you can see they are giving him help.
Yes, they are. Pass is complete to Warwick Dunn, but he only gets a couple, and the Bucs will have to punt.
Here it is. You see they bring Dave Moore, the tight end, over to this side, so they're going to double Kabir Bajabiamila. That he's the leading sacker in football now. He has 10. In fact, that one that he got today was his 4th one against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Mark Royals back to punt.
Tony Dungy said they wanted to get off to a good start. The Bucs have gotten off to an ugly start.
Terrible. Alan Rossum back deep. And a very bad punt by Royals, which Rossum hustles over to, and the Bucs are lucky to be able to ground it close to midfield. Tonight it's Game 7 of the World Series, presented by Budweiser. It's a classic confrontation, as the Yankees send the legendary Roger Clemens to the mound, while the Diamondbacks will counter with Cy Young favorite Curt Schilling. Game 7 begins tonight at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, here on Fox. The first matchup of 20-game winners in a Game 7 since 1985. That's Dorsey Levens.
I'll tell you one thing, that to me, this is a perfect place to play football. Green Bay, Wisconsin, Lambeau Field. And the hitting, I think guys bring their hitting when they come here. It's a great day for hitting, great weather for hitting, and you can just feel it down there. I mean, a guy gets the ball, and boom! There's about 10 guys hitting everything.
Now, you look around the stadium, usually you can see a few empty seats. I don't see an empty seat anywhere.
Nah, not here.
And they've been here since 10 o'clock this morning. 2nd and 8. Favre in the shotgun. Up and throw. Pass complete to Charles Lee. And that's the end of the first quarter, with the score Green Bay 7, Tampa Bay nothing. Fox NFL Sunday from Green Bay will continue after these messages. Ready to start the second quarter. Here are the first quarter stats.
Yeah, look at this. The Bucs -1 rushing. That's not Buck ball. And then look here, 120 total yards for the Packers, only 7 total yards for the Buccaneer offense. This is a very, very slow start for the Buccaneers, and their offense looks slow.
Here's Amon Green for a game break again. Let's go to James Brown in Los Angeles.
Pat and John, the defense of Dallas doing the job. Take a look at Dexter Coakley, who returned the pick last week for a TD. He does it again this week. 16 yards to pay dirt, make that 29 yards to pay dirt. It is now 17-0 Dallas. Boy, Jim Fossil hasn't lost 4 straight in his career. Back to Pat and John.
Boy, that's a shocker, isn't it?
Break up the Cowboys.
Yeah.
They're a dynasty.
They're going for 3 in a row. Green again, inside the 20.
There's one of the all-time greats, huh, Pat? Reggie White. I think, when people ask who's the best defensive lineman that we've seen over the years,
I don't think I've ever seen a better one.
No, than Reggie White. And, and he could always come up with a big play when you needed it. When you needed a sack, that's when Reggie White would come up with a sack.
He was a defensive player who could take over a game.
And he could play any of the positions, a lot like Howie Long. Howie could do the same thing.
Here's Favre, back to throw, and the pass is picked off. That's Donnie Abraham. And Abraham is taken down by Mike Wall. Abraham could have gone if he had gotten by that big arm.
Yeah, and he didn't see Donnie Wall. I don't think that he saw Mike Wall when he cut in there. Donnie Abraham, again, is not the starting back, but he's a nickel back. You see, it's that same type of thing that Rondé Barber intercepted earlier. Exactly. Crossing pattern to Antonio Freeman.
Pentium 4 processor, the center of your digital world. By Burger King, home of the Whopper. By Autotrader.com, the biggest, best used car site on the planet. And by cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft. Never miss a genuine opportunity.
Ducks and geese, this is great hunting country. Great interception country, too, if you're a Buccaneer. Here's Allstott. That's his best gain of the day.
And they have good field position. Watch this play again. Here's Antonio Freeman. Here's Donnie Abraham. So he has a couple yards on him, and that's what Brett Favre is looking. So he's going to lead him here, but he doesn't lead him enough. And Donnie Abraham makes up those 2 or 3 yards, you see? I mean, Brett Favre either has to lead him out there or put a little more on that ball. You see, because he let Donnie Abraham, Antonio Freeman had the thing, and he let Donnie Abraham get out there, and then you saw that hit that Mike Wall put on Donnie Abraham at the end.
Allstott again. Try to cut it back to the outside, not quite to the 30.
There's Mike Allstott's parents. There was a
Jeannie and Dennis.
Jeannie and Dennis, there was a time where they came to every game. And, from Little League all the way through high school, all the way through Purdue. In his first few years with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he told us last night they don't make every game anymore, no. but they make a big part of them. But at one time, they had never missed a game of his playing in his life.
3rd and 3 is Brad Johnson's got a free play and got a first down at the 20. That's Carl Williams who made the reception.
And that was Baja Biamilla who jumped off sides, I think.
It was.
You lead the league in sacks with 10, and you've already had 4 against this team. You don't have to leave before the ball snapped. 94.
Offside. 94. Defense. It's declined. First down.
And he has Kenyatta Walker, and you're going to see him right here. He's looking in, and I don't know. He's looking in at the ball. The only thing that I can say he saw is he saw motion. On the other side of the ball, there was motion. And as you said, that was the free play, and Brad Johnson took advantage of it.
That's 1st and 10 at about the 19 of Green Bay. And Allstott is again back deep. But Brad Johnson's going to throw and take his shot. He's got a man open in the end zone, but he overthrew him. Riddell Anthony had some time and had the Packers beat.
Well, he waited too long. Brad Johnson waited too long. That's something that when we used to throw that ball to the second pylon, you have to throw it when he's on the 10-yard line. You can't wait. See, if you're going to throw it, boom, you have to throw it right there, then you throw it to this second pylon. And that ball was thrown way too late. I mean, that ball had to be thrown 2 counts before it was thrown.
He had to be able to see him open before he threw it. And I think he did. 2nd and 10. Here comes the blitz, and there's Allstott. Down to about the 15. stopped by Nate Wayne and Darren Sharper.
Darren Sharper made a heck of a play on that. You know, he's blitzing more now than Leroy Butler, and he comes up and he chases that all the way across the field. He's going to come up on the outside. Here he is right here. And he's blitzing from that backside. They're running away from the blitz, and he chases it down.
3rd and 6, make it. Seven, 0 Green Bay.
See how deep the safeties are. This is when you have to get something underneath.
Brad Johnson, incomplete. Intended for Dave Moore. Incomplete.
You know, we talked earlier that one of the things that this Packer defense had to do was stop Mike Allstott. And you see right here, they've been doing it. And the way they do it, the way you do it is you have to get a lot of guys around the ball and gang tackling and give them no way to cut.
Here's our friend Martin Gramatica trying to get the Bucs on the board. Plenty of distance and plenty true. It's 7-3 Green Bay with 10:57 left before halftime.
You tend to realize, you know, that wherever you go, that, you know, we will prevail is something that is bigger than it's ever been.
Rossum is at 23. Next week, it's a Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader, beginning with America's #1 pregame show. JB, Terry, Howie, and Chris get you ready for kickoff, followed by an NFC Central battle between the Packers and the Bears. Then the Saints battle the 49ers in an NFC West showdown or other regional action. That Saints-49ers, you get a chance to travel across the heartland.
Yep, I'll be going right after this game across the heartland. And look at this NFC Central, the Chicago Bears. Who would have thought that in first place?
Who would have thought?
5-1.
Green. And again, for a game break, let's return to James Brown in Los Angeles.
Pat and John, the education of the rookie quarterback Chris Winkie continues here, throwing his 12th pick of the season. That's the most in the NFC. Picked off by Patrick Surtain of Miami. He takes it to pay dirt. 10-3 Miami. That in the second. Back to Pat and John.
The Dolphins kind of quietly are pretty good too, aren't they? Here's Favre, dropped the ball, and down he goes. Wisely fell on it instead of trying to pick it up.
That's who Warren Sapp gets to play next year is Chris Winkie.
Yeah.
He was saying that realignment, you know, that this is really the last time until the year 2005 that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to play here at Lambeau Field.
You mean we're trading Favre, Culpepper, and Moss for Winkie, Chandler, and Horn?
It's, you know, even though the Bucs haven't had a lot of success here, they really talk fondly of Lambeau Field and coming to Green Bay and the tradition and so on.
There's Favre on third down, pass complete, not enough for first. Amon Green.
Looks like Favre is losing a little of his confidence right now. Here's the realignment we're talking about. You can see the North will be Chicago, Detroit, Green Bay, and Minnesota. Then the new one will be the South, Atlanta, Carolina, New Orleans, and Tampa Bay. And it'll be Dallas, New York, Philadelphia, Washington will be one, and then so on.
Carl Williams back deep for Josh Bidwell's punt.
You think we can stay on him next time? Thank you.
I hear someone saying, you think you can stay on him next time? That sounds like some coach talking to challenging a player.
Williams slides and flags come flying all over the place.
But doesn't this seem like the type of game that we've seen more often where one team, in this case it was the Green Bay Packers, has the momentum, they have the plays, they have the field position, they have the yardage, but they don't take advantage of it. And when they don't, it always seems to come back and haunt them.
Especially if one of those teams is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Member of the kicking team, downfield.
I think the best description I've heard of them.
The penalty is decline.
One of the best descriptions I've heard of them is what you said before. When you think of the Buccaneers, you think of 9. little conference on the sideline. Warren Sapp.
Well, you know what
they're
talking about. You can see Monty Kiffin. He started to get down in the stance. Warren Sapp was talking about who has what gap. See, every defensive player is responsible for a gap. And when they got gashed on a play, there was someone not in that gap.
Here's Warwick Dunn. No gain.
You could look at the Bucs running game. They've run 1 time to the left for 2 yards, 4 times up the middle for -1, and that's where on running downs Gilbert Brown usually hangs out. And they went to the right 3 times for 8 yards. So it's not that they've had success anywhere.
No, not really.
But the thing is, if you're going to run inside on a running down,
is Dunn hurt again?
Yeah, you know, Warwick Dunn has a bad toe and hamstring.
Johnson has time. Misses the target. Stecker high over his head.
You know, one thing that, you know, the Buccaneers talk about they have to do is be able to run the ball, establish a line of scrimmage, those types of things. And the other thing is get the ball to Keyshawn Johnson, who's their possession receiver, and they have yet to get a pass to Keyshawn Johnson. And I think that we're talking about who's involved and who has to get involved in the offense. Pretty soon, they ought to get Keyshawn and Johnson involved in this offense.
They're going to have to if they're going to win. Shotgun formation for the Bucs. And here comes the blitz. He just does get rid of it. John Theory and number 94.
If Kabir Bajabiamila, if he could play every game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he would be in a class of Reggie White as far as getting sacks. He'd be like Deacon Jones and those guys.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's not getting a sack, he's awfully close, and he was on that last one.
Bronson back deep for Royals punt. Fair catch, but he has to let it bounce, and does, and again it takes a Buccaneer bounce for a while. Down inside the 20, about the 18, where Green Bay takes over. They lead at 7-3 to do some damage. Third and short.
And now we'll see Lynch. He'll come up here, see, and he's right on the line with the linebackers.
Amon Green breaks a couple tackles and still churns. Lost the ball. And the Bucs, I believe, got it. Warren Sapp fell on it. And that's what happens when you try to dig for extra yardage.
Yeah, but if you don't try and dig for extra yardage, you just go down. I mean, and that's been Amon Green's problem.
He had the first.
That's the thing. That's the thing that they talked about, and that's why Mike Holmgren traded him away. But I like the effort. I mean he's playing. He's just going. And then he broke about 5 or 6 tackles before he did that.
Dexter Jackson was the buck that pulled him loose.
Yeah, and he was the free safety. We showed how John Lynch, the strong safety, was up there. Then Dexter Jackson got up there on that second layer.
Brad Johnson, the quarterback for Tampa Bay, and he so far has looked out of sync.
Yeah, he looks like he's in a funk.
Here's Allstott. And Allstott hammers for just a few.
And part of it is that they haven't gotten the running game going yet. Oh, Gilbert Brown's doing the shovel, the old grave digger.
Yeah.
He's trying to get these fans fired up. They're fired up. Here's Gilbert. You just see him take on his guy, hold it, wait for that cutback, and when it comes, it's all yours.
He and that guy have played against each other for a long time.
Yep, Randall McDaniel, Gilbert Brown won that contest.
Yes, he did.
He pushed Randall McDaniel back into his backfield. You see, even defensive linemen have to have a little patience to let the ball come to you.
Here's Brad Johnson looking and pointing, and now he takes off, and he's got a first down and more. Johnson down inside the Green Bay 20, taken down by Sharper.
And he had to run away from number 90, Vonnie Holliday, on that play. Because Holliday was was the guy that was there, and you're going to see him. He's right here. He's coming from this backside. He gets the pressure right there. Now, Brad Johnson is waiting for a receiver to open up. Now, he knows if he waits another step, Holiday's going to be there. There's Jameel Cook, the fullback. He gets a heck of a block out there for Brad Johnson.
That's the old pancake.
You don't want that when you get up the next day. You don't want the back of your jersey to have mud on it.
No.
You don't want the back of your helmet to have mud on it.
First down, Packers show him blitz. Johnson back, and there's the blitz. Nate Wayne from the outside. You get down inside the 20 with a first down against Green Bay, and you're going to see a blitz.
You're going to see the blitz. That's the thing that they have to. You get in field goal range, and then what they try and do is knock you out of field goal range. They had the blitz. They slid the line away, and then you see that they had the free guy coming from the outside. The offensive coordinator of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Clyde Christensen, looking at that list, trying to find the play. Second and long is a tough thing. You better be looking at 2 plays.
Second and very long. And Johnson drops the throw. And throws. Pass is caught by Keyshawn Johnson at the 5 on his knee.
And that was Keyshawn Johnson's first pass reception. We said that eventually we know that he has to get into the game. And you're going to see he just comes from the inside, then goes to the outside, and comes back in, and Brad Johnson hits him perfectly.
Now that's a pretty good throw.
It's a perfect throw. I mean, one thing about Keyshawn Johnson is he has a big body, so he can use his body to get position, but he doesn't get a lot of separation because he doesn't have a lot of speed. And unless he can push off or use his body to get separation, you have to throw that ball in some pretty tight spots when you throw it to Keyshawn.
22-yard pass completion, got him inside the 5. All-Star is to about the 3 and knocked backwards.
And this is where they would like to run All-Star. You know, it seems like every time you think of Mike Allstott highlights, don't you think of him about this area right here?
Yeah, you do.
About the 5-yard line and
bouncing off a pile and then into the end zone.
And over the years, this is where he's made his runs and either starting in the middle or to the left, and then, as you say, bouncing off a pile, keep those legs driving.
Well, in the first game against the Packers, he ran from 39 yards out to score the winning touchdown. He's deep this time. Fake to Allstott. Johnson outside the 12-yard line, taken down by John Theory.
And that's what you call a coverage sack because there's no one open. You see, he's trying to fool him with a play pass, and unless you throw it right now, you see, again, I think part of it was pretty good coverage, but I think, again, Brad Johnson was too late on that.
Well, he was going to try to run that play that they ran earlier where he hit the fullback Cook.
Jameel Cook is right there. I mean, he has to come, boom, right now, throw it right now. You see, and then he waits and waits and waits. Now it's too late.
Yep. Well, now he's out of bounds and gone.
But that's at least the second time that Brad Johnson has waited too long.
Third down. Touchdown. Dave Moore. And he didn't wait too long then.
And I see you there. I'll tell you, Brad Johnson didn't wait too long.
No, he didn't.
I mean, he came back, and that back foot is going to plant, and he's going to see Dave Moore is right there. Watch it, boom, he gives a little fight, and then pops it right in there.
That was in that window.
That was a
window was
throw.
closing.
You see that little move, just kind of a little out and in or stop and go or whatever it was, but he let Dave Moore make his move, and then boom, he just put it right in there.
Grammaticus extra point is good. There's a flag on the play, however. The extra point was good.
Whatever it was, both of those deep officials saw it. Brad Johnson's over there accepting congratulations.
Yeah. It's against Green Bay.
Remember what happened when Kurt Warner did that in New York?
12 men on the extra point kick. The kick is good. We'll penalize on the kickoff.
10-0 is the score. 10-7 is the score with 2 minutes left, 2:02 in the first half.
Roughing the passer.
Brooks is going to be called for rushing the passer.
That's what they're going to say. Derek Brooks puts his hands up in the air, both palms out. That means that he didn't do it. Or he's saying that he didn't do it.
Johnny Greer says he did.
Again, after the quarterback throws the ball.
Roughing the passer, number 55, defense. Blow leading with the forearm. First down.
He doesn't believe I did it.
Well, again, it's not saying that it's roughing the quarterback. You said it's a blow with the forearm. It's that left arm. You see that? That's what Johnny Greer saw, was that left arm going up to his head right there.
That's pretty close.
Yeah, but they're not letting them take blows to the head.
Amon Green crosses midfield. Packers still have a lot of time and all 3 of their timeouts.
Yeah, and this is what they have to do, is kind of speed up and, get the ball to Amon Green and have him not fumble and Brett Favre throw it and not throw interception.
Favre back to throw and throws quickly. That's Donald Driver who makes the reception and a Packer first down as well.
They were just saying that they didn't have a sense of urgency offensively. It didn't look like they did, but they look like they've gotten one, doesn't
it? Yes, they do. And now they use a timeout, so they'll have 2 left.
So warm.
For J.B. Terry, Howie, and Chris will have scores and highlights from around the league. And the Fox Sports ticker will keep you updated with up to the second stats. Right now, Green Bay ball with 1:18 left. And Tampa Bay leading 10-7. There's the Buccaneer 38. They're showing blitz and coming free, and Clark steps away from it.
And that was John Lynch. It was John Lynch who came free and missed. Oh, here comes the flag
on the play.
Watch John Lynch's number 47. He's coming up free, as you said. Brett Favre has that little move, that Olay move, where he puts the ball up and just gives you the side of his body.
Delay. Defense, number 99, would not get off the ball.
This is Warren Sapp, who would not get off the ball.
Yeah, and that can do some harm to the ball, too.
Yep. Let's see.
That's the thing. Well, they're going hurry up, seeing Brett Favre's trying to get up to get back to the huddle, and Sapp's not going to let him get up.
He got off the ball. He just wouldn't get off Favre, who had the ball. Green taken down. Crosses inside the 30.
And it's a first down also, so that gives the Packers a new set of downs. And remember, they still have 2 timeouts.
Clock running down to 45 seconds now. Favre back to throw it. Standing in the pocket for a long time. Finally throws up the middle to David Martin at the Buccaneer 19-yard line. Green Bay timeout. Now they have 1 left.
We pitted Castrol Syntec 1030 against the leading conventional oils in some of the world's toughest tests. The 96-hour TU3 viscosity test. The M111E, designed to break down an oil into sludge. The blistering hot VWIC deposit test. Not one conventional oil could pass all these tests. Then again, there's nothing conventional about Syntec. Castrol Syntec protects in ways other oils can't.
A reminder, coming up on the Visa halftime report, J.B. Terry, Howie, and Chris left scores and highlights from around the league. And the Fox Sports ticker will keep you updated with up to the second stats at the half, which is 35 seconds away from right now. Second and 2 for the Packers.
Here's where Warren Sapp has to disrupt.
Back to there. Here comes the blitz, and they miss again. Pass complete, none yards. Maybe a first to Driver. Didn't get the first.
Again, you see how Brett Favre has the ability to make a miss.
This one is to Amon Green inside the 10, and that's the first.
And they have to take a timeout now.
And get the field goal team on the field. If that's what they decide to do.
I've always felt that you want to leave more than 10 seconds now because, you know, they do have that one rule that if your field goal team is out there and if they make a move or have a penalty before the ball is snapped, they take 10 seconds off the clock. So I think with that rule in mind, you always want to leave more than 10 seconds because if they were to kick a field goal now and if they had illegal motion on the kicking team, they would take the 10 seconds off the clock.
And that would mean the field goal try wouldn't take place and the halftime would be here.
Right, and I think what Mike Sherman is thinking now, though, is that they want to take one shot because they can do this. I mean, they're under the 10 now, so they can take one shot. I think they'll take one quick shot at the end zone. Again, with no timeout, this cannot be a run. It has to be a pass, and it can't be thrown short of the goal line.
Favre in the shotgun. Looks to his right. There's a flag on the play. Favre throws incomplete. But there's a flag on the play. It's against Green Bay.
Looked like the signal was illegal chop block. It was called by the umpire, who usually calls holding. He's the official behind the defensive line. But that signal, I think, is illegal chop block.
Personal foul, chop block, number 58, offense. Still first down.
Mike Flanagan called for the penalty, and actually that got the clock stopped with 5 seconds to go. The incomplete pass would have stopped it anyway.
See, here's where you're going to see Flanagan right here. I don't know what's wrong with that. I mean, usually the chop block, the illegal chop block, is the one where one guy has him engaged and then the other guy chops him.
41-yard field goal attempt by Ryan Longwell, and now Tampa Bay is going to take a timeout and let him think about it a little bit.
I don't know if they were taking a timeout for that or to get a defense straight, because part of even though it is a field goal, you know, you still have a defense call. And you're going to have a push up the middle, and you're going to have a rush from the right side or the left side, but you do have to have the tight ends and the wings and the holder covered. So you have to have your coverage, your front, and the side of the block.
Sounds like a lot to do.
Well, I mean, sometimes you just think that your big old guys just lean up against each other on field goals, but there are assignments and there are coverages and responsibilities in case there's a fake.
41 yards out for Ryan Longwell. If they kick. 41. To tie it. Hold it.
That was Ryan Longwell's 6th field goal miss of the year. That's more than he had all of last year. But I'll tell you one thing about this Tampa Bay team and this.
Amon Green short of the 45 and short of the first down.
So usually they want to throw that check down or check through stuff to Amon Green when the Buccaneers are in that cover 2 shell that we showed earlier. When Lynch is up, then they're in cover 1 or cover 3, and you would think that they would want to go more to the outside receivers on those situations.
Third down,
here's Lynch coming up.
A long yard. Favre back to throw. Being chased. Throws. Intercepted by Jamie Duncan. Well, was it ever prophesied that he'd throw it up where you could get some interception?
Well, that's what they talk about, and that's what their defense counts on. Now watch as Brett Favre rolls out here. That shrinks the field, shrinks the field, shrinks the field. Now you only have one place to throw it. Now that was a bad decision. It was a bad throw. It was ugly. When you get out there and there's nothing there, you can throw it away. You can throw it out of bounds. You don't want to throw it away inside the field of play. There was no way that William Henderson had a chance on that play. I mean, Brett Favre should have just thrown the ball out of bounds, punt, and then let the defense play.
So the Buccaneers, after the interception, get the ball at the Packer 45. First and 10. And they hand it to Allstott. And Allstott gets a couple. Let's go down to Ron Pitts now.
Well, Pat, the word in the locker room from Mike Sherman, quick, intense, and to the point. Stop messing up, no more turnovers, and let's make some big plays. Ironically, the other word from the defense was, let's finish the game. They get the turnover here. Let's see if they can do it. Pat, John, back up to you guys.
Yeah, that's like in baseball. You know, you could never bring in a pitcher and say, don't walk this guy. I mean, you can't tell a quarterback, don't throw an interception.
It's like telling a back, don't fumble.
Yeah, I mean, you can't, and those are the types of things that the Packers are doing, and you can't tell them not to. Although sometimes, like that last play, that was just a bad decision by Brett Favre.
Johnson gets rid of it to Johnson, and the ball is loose. I don't know if he had it or not. We'll have to take a look. It's Tampa Bay's ball.
Yeah, and they're spotting it where it went out of bounds.
Yeah, he must have had it.
They're saying that Keyshawn Johnson had possession, got hit, and fumbled it. He did have possession. He did fumble it. Now, he was the last guy that touched it before it goes out of bounds. See, the ball goes out of bounds, and then so it's at that spot. It's going to be the Bucs ball at the spot where it goes out of bounds.
Nate Wayne is the guy who knocks it loose right there.
Keyshawn Johnson was the last guy who had control of it.
And it's third down and long, really long, 20 yards at least.
And when you fumble backwards that far, you will be third and really long.
Yeah. Screen pass. And they got the first down. Warwick Dunn.
And that's why Warwick Dunn is in there. There's a lot of possession-type guys on this Tampa Bay Buccaneer offensive team, but there's not a lot of explosive guys. Warwick Dunn is their explosive guy. Screen pass, good blocking out there. In fact, a couple of great blocks, missed tackle, and then Warwick Dunn knows where that first down marker is and just stretches out to get the first down.
Well, they're going to measure now. They must have moved it back from where it appeared he went down.
But it looks like raw eyes. I'm just looking with my raw eyes. That looks like that ball is in front of the marker.
But raw eyes
over on that marker on the other side, it is. The marker right there, it's like 1 or 2 chain lengths.
What are raw eyes anyway?
In other words, you don't have any help. I mean, I don't have any binoculars. I don't have any glasses. I don't have anything. I'm just looking with my raw eyes.
It sounds like your eyes are burning.
No, just raw. I mean, that's all you use. Like, eat a raw potato, not a baked potato. But anyway, the raw eyes didn't work because it looked like it was beyond. So now they got fourth and about 2 chain lengths.
And they're going for it.
And this, to me, is a Brad Johnson quarterback sneak down.
Yep, they got all shot deep, but it's a Brad Johnson sneak. And the ball's loose again. I think the ball was already down. I think it was already down.
Yeah, they're just going to spot the ball. That's a play that when you get that close, you don't want to have a guy 7 or 8 yards deep in the backfield running the ball. I mean, the closest thing to the ball that can handle it is the quarterback.
Well, let's check out the raw eyes again.
That's Santana Dotson is number 71.
We have forward progress by the quarterback.
He just
whistle
didn't blow right out of there.
And then the fumble occurred. First down.
You hear that? The whistle did blew.
The old whistle blew trick. Santana Dotson, an old veteran who's played here for a long time, played for Tampa Bay. He pulled that ball out of there. It looked like before Brad Johnson went down, but Johnny Greer said the whistle blew.
Brad Johnson has some protection and has a completion. Riddell Anthony got another Buck first down.
Yeah, and again, it starts with good pass protection. Riddell Anthony gets the inside right there. then you hold the inside, and then you want to get that ball in there in that hole between the corner and before the safety gets there. You see Sharper's going to get there in about 2 steps, so that ball had to be thrown right at that time, or Darren Sharper was going to be there.
All caused by that.
And here's where it all starts. You see, then he could step up, he could look, he could see, he had a lane to throw, and he could step up and throw it.
Blitz showing, but they drop it. Here comes the blitz. Outside to Allstott. Nobody with him. Allstott out of bounds inside the 5.
And Darren Sharper had to run him down. That's the old thing. You get the blitz coming from that side. You pack it in. There's mom and dad saying, I knew he could do it. Just throw the ball to my kid. And they did exactly that. They packed everything in. Watch, they pack everything in on this side. Get Allstott out to that side. They got the free guy. Allstott is a hot receiver. And if Darren Sharper doesn't have more speed than Allstott, that's a touchdown. That was that old jump pass.
Yep.
You know, Brad Johnson was a basketball player at Florida State.
I didn't realize he got in until he lined up for the extra point.
I didn't think he did either. I thought Darren Sharper got him.
17-7.
Dad, Timmy hit a home run.
Great. Put the little slugger on.
Hello?
I hear you got a big hit today, Timmy.
I sure did, Grampy. I won the game.
Sure wish I could have been there.
I did too. Because that's what it said on my birthday and at Christmas, when my baby sister was born, and on Halloween.
NFL Sunday is brought to you by 1010-220. Dial it and all calls up to 20 minutes are only 99 cents.
Tampa Bay over Green Bay.
Watch the play again. We're going to see Allstott's going to come out here. They pack everything in. Here's Darren Sharper. He's one of the guys on the blitz, and he's going to come all the way back, and he's going to try and knock Allstott out of bounds right at the goal line. Allstott outruns him and gets the ball in right there. Again, the pylon is out of bounds, but the ball was inside the pylon.
Gramatica lines the kickoff to Allen Rossum. Still on his feet, dragged out of bounds by Kelly. So the Packers will take over. First and 10, 17-7, the Buccaneers lead.
Whoop-de-doo. I guess you think Tiny could do better. You want to put $1 on it? Oh, you bet I do.
No, big deal, a whole $1.
No, $1 buys a lot with 10-10-220. It's 99 cents for all calls up to 20 minutes. And 7 cents a minute after 20.
20 minutes for 99 cents.
Yep. Get it, girl. Get it. Go get it, girl. Got it, Tiny. All right. Wow. Nice catch. And she knows the value of $1.
Are you saying I don't?
Don't start with me, Bradshaw.
Dial 1010-220.
Chili's famous baby back ribs, double basted with barbecue sauce.
Ever wonder how the race car driver gets to the race car? Seville STS, the fusion of design and technology. Cadillac.
Fox Tuesday is the season's most anticipated night of television. First, it's a new episode of the smash hit That 70s Show and The Simpsons' all-new Halloween special. Then Kiefer Sutherland stars in the series premiere of 24. All starts Tuesday night. Favre starting right now. It hits Antonio Freeman.
Yeah, and that's the thing that we were talking about. When you get that safety up there, that means you don't have that cover 2. You have a cover 3, and the place to attack it is on the perimeters. And that's exactly what he did there. And then those check-throughs and stuff are for the cover 2. He was running some cover 2 plays against cover 3. That was a cover 3 play against cover 3.
First and 10 as a result. Lambeau Green taken down by Lynch from behind.
Yeah, we look at the bad throws by Brett Favre today. That was Ronnie Barber. That was overruled. This one thrown a little late and a little short. This one was just a terrible decision. But 17 points for the Buccaneers have come off turnovers on the Green Bay Packers.
And 17 would be all their points. Second down. Favre steps up in the pocket, throwing deep for Bradford. And Bradford, incomplete. Incomplete. Ronnie Barber was back there wrestling with him. And they say the ball hit the ground.
But this is a thing that Brett Favre can do, is be running one way and throw it another. Corey Bradford has it now, is losing it as it goes down, and the ball hits the ground. That was a good call.
Yep.
But that was still Brett Favre. You know, it was funny watching him practice the other day. You know, we talk about conventional throwing and, you know, throwing back and away and all the ways he throws. When he practices, even when there's no line there, he practices that way.
Third and long.
I think what the fans are booing for is they want that play challenged, but they would have lost the challenge.
Buccaneers get a late blitz. Pass is incomplete. Intended for Martin.
I'll tell you, he will throw that into some tight spots. You're going to see that he starts on a blitz here, and he just runs into his own guy, so he just quits. But this is awfully tight down here. Watch right here what happens on the blitz, and you see why they didn't get there. We're running it back, and now you'll see it forward right there. The two guys run into each other, but that was an awfully tight spot that Brett Favre tried to get it into.
Packers have to punt. Carl Williams back deep. He's going to get away from it, and it goes into the end zone. Buccaneers, when we come back, will take over at their own 20.
This Friday, nothing is better.
He hypnotized you.
And nothing is bigger.
Holy cow.
Than being totally shallow. Shallow Hal. Rated PG-13. Friday. Only in theaters.
There's a different way to look at your money.
What's it say?
ING. It's not an ending. It's a beginning.
There's a light in your soul that says you're one of a kind.
Don't never let it go. Be original, an individual, like Dr. Pepper. Be you, do what you do. Dr. Pepper. Be you, do what you do. Nothing better. Be you, do what you do.
Last season, her prayers were finally answered. But now, the question is... by whom? Lucy Lawless guest stars. The X-Files season premiere next Sunday on Fox.
8:07 left in the third. It's Tampa Bay 17, Green Bay 7. At Lambeau Field in Green Bay. Buccaneers ball. Brad Johnson, the quarterback. Allstott, the running back. Brad wants to change something. Nobody's sure.
He's going to have to take time out or we're going to get a 5-yard penalty.
Timeout.
So that'll leave him with 2.
Number 1.
It started out with Keyshawn Johnson in motion, then sending him back, and then it went to his back.
Miller Genuine Draft. Cold filtered. For when you feel the heat. Get refreshment down cold. Cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft.
Recently, at this quiet, unassuming little Pizza Hut, an interesting pizza discovery took place. Whoa! We've created the new Ultimate Lovers Pizzas from Pizza Hut. Our Lovers Pizzas now with cheese once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6 kinds of luscious cheese. And 6 kinds of seriously satisfying meat toppings. Or 5 garden veggies. Or 2 layers of zesty pepperoni. And you'll discover it's not $12.99, it's only $8.99. $8.99. The new Ultimate Lovers Pizzas, only from Pizza Hut.
So the bun cake was bad.
The bun cake was abysmal, but you're missing the point of the story. The entire staff has food poisoning, leaving packages to be shipped, deadlines to be met, and one sales manager to do it all.
Just one?
One.
You mean have the bun cake?
He had the Danish. Stay with me. He jumps on FedEx.com. He's shipping. He's tracking. Getting confirmations on his cell phone. His pagers, PDA.
He's got a PDA?
Everybody's got a PDA. Nevertheless, packages arrive. He triumphs over adversity.
I don't have PDA.
Check, please.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 36. By Cadillac, the fusion of design and technology. By Pizza Hut, where every week this fall you can get one of our pizzas for an unbelievable low price. And by Shallow Hal, a new comedy from the Farrelly Brothers starring Gwyneth Paltrow and Jack Black, Friday.
Mike Allstott is the deep back. Brad Johnson's gotten everything straight. On first down, the give is to Allstott. Allstott hammering away, banging away. And for a game break, let's again return to James Brown in Los Angeles.
Hey, Pat, take a look at this great call here. Joe Juravicius in the slot, has a linebacker on him. Terry Collins hooks up with him. 34-yard pass play. Giants cutting the deficit, 24-14. Back in the third, back to pass. And John.
That is a shocking score. And I guess if you've lost 11 times in a row, so is this. Tampa Bay leading Green Bay 17-7. Tony Dungy's never won here. Movement. Cletus Hunt jumped too early.
That's one thing you talk about at halftime.
97 defense. First down.
And you try and change in the second half as you try and change your cadence, and you'll get a couple of those as they just did on Cletus Hunt.
Let's go down to Ron Pitts.
Well, Pat, John, after that last touchdown by Mike Allstott, there was a lot of finger pointing going on down here by the Green Bay Packers defense on the sideline. Ed Donatello, defensive coordinator, got everybody together. He said, listen, guys, that play is on me. I shouldn't have called that. Let's keep playing, and our quarterback is going to get us back in this game. Let's see if we can do it, Pat.
Johnson gets it out to Johnson.
On the touchdown play, the one that he's talking about, it was a blitz, and they had a full-out blitz, and I don't know, who was supposed to have the coverage on that of Mike Allstott, because the closest guy that looked like he could cover him was a defensive end, Bonnie Holiday. So I'm sure that's what they were talking about. Who was supposed to have Allstott when he came out, because no one did take him. Sharper was the closest guy there who got there at the end, and he was on a blitz.
This play's out of sync. Whistles blow. I don't see any
Prior to the snap, false start.
False start.
Number 83, offense.
Dave Moore, the tight end. That looked like nobody was ready.
Maybe that's, part of that change in account. Remember, they got Cletius Hunt to jump offside before that, and then they picked up 5 yards, and then they go back, and they jump offsides, and they give up 5 yards, and Reggie White's looking around and saying, what the heck's happening out there?
2nd and 10. Here's offside. Looking for some room and can't find much. Nate Wayne was the first man there.
I'll tell you one thing about Mike Allstott is he's a tailback in a fullback's body, and he does bring a load in there. But when you bring a load, you're going to bring a load of defenders at you too. And they're just keying him when he's the tailback, and they're all flying to him.
He could be either way. It could be a tailback in a fullback's body or a fullback in a tailback's body.
Nah, but he's a tailback. I mean, he makes a Pro Bowl as a fullback, but he's really a tailback. He's not a fullback.
3rd down. 8, blitz showing. Johnson slipped on the way back, and it's perhaps a good thing he did. Is Leroy Butler.
Leroy Butler, he's getting closer to his 40-20. In fact, he's going to be the first guy, he says, that has a 40-20, and that would be 40 interceptions, 20 sacks. He had 19 and a half sacks until right then. Now he has 20, so he has the 20 part of 40-20. Right, and this field, they're going to re-sod after this game. This is what you call a heavy field.
Rossum will have a chance to return it, maybe, and he does. Spins away from one and slips down. He slipped down.
Question about DirecTV? Yeah, I hear this thing hits like an insane amount of sports channels.
What's up?
You're absolutely right, sir. With DirecTV, you and your family can enjoy wonderful educational channels together.
I'll let you guys talk.
Here's the pitch.
We know how you feel, and that's why at Circuit City, you'll get a single-room DirecTV system with installation free after mail-in rebates when you sign up for 12 months of DirecTV programming. Circuit City, we're with you.
The over 3,300 choice hotels in the U.S. and the Caribbean just want to thank everyone for traveling again and getting back to experiencing the power of being there.
Hey, it's Dark Mountain Roast Coffee. Real robust, full-body coffee. Always fresh. As good or better than any coffee house. And it costs less. Dark Mountain Roast Coffee, only at 7-Eleven. Get it while it's hot. It's always hot. Yeah.
Oh, thank heaven.
Why do I rent from Enterprise? For more cargo room. More people room. Or more headroom. Enterprise. So easy it's like having a second car. Or third.
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
Here's some cookies.
Kerry Collins of the New York Giants, working to help the United Way build stronger communities.
Got chicken here for you.
back at Lambeau Field in Green Bay, where the local team is trailing the Bucs. I wonder what kind of cheesehead that is. Those are Buccaneer fans, looks like.
You know, I was cooking brats out there before the game, and
you were cooking?
Yeah, and I gave some brats to some fans. I was throwing them over the fence. I put one through the fence to a kid, and he was a Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan.
Did he know what it was? Here's Amon Green, and he is gone. Just a simple-looking play. But when you have that kind of speed and strength, and you're Amon Green, you can take it like that.
And you just stay with it. You just stay with your running game. He gets right in there on that right side. You're going to see him here. He's going to run right in there. Tauscher gets a good block. Gets his guy to the inside. William Henderson, the fullback, makes a good block. And that's what creates the big gaping hole for Amon Green.
Longwell's extra point is good at 17-14. 4:40 left in the third.
That was a play that the Packers needed, Pat. I think to get him jump-started.
63 yards.
And then here you got the old Lambeau leap. Remember the guy who started this? Was it not? No, it wasn't even an offensive player. The first guy that did the Lambeau leap, I think, was Leroy Butler.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, that's how it started. And then it became an offensive thing. And each guy comes, Amon Green, out of the University of Nebraska. Played for the Seattle Seahawks, was traded here. One of the first things they teach him here is the Lambeau leap.
That's a pretty good leap.
Warren Sapp was saying, whose gap was that? You know, we talk about this Tampa Bay Buccaneer defense, and everyone is responsible for their gap. So when they go through a gap, then there's someone that's responsible for that gap, and that's the guy that has to take the blame. The way Sapp was looking, it was either he's mad at himself because it was his gap, or he's mad at someone else whose gap that was. But Mark Tauscher, the right tackle, made a good block, and then William Henderson made a good lead block.
And Amon Green's 63-yard touchdown run makes it 17-14 with 4:40 left in the third. Longwell's kickoff sails. Abdullah.
Watch him. He didn't take the ball in there with him, but you can get a drink in there if you want.
You can also,
or you can get it just poured right on you.
Poured on you, yeah. You can come out of there wet.
The girl right there has no control over what she has in her hands. You go in there, smelling like football and smelling like grass and stuff. You come out smelling like beer, and she's starting to smell like football.
And beer. First and 10 at their own 25. 26 make it. And Brad Johnson drops the throw and does throw, and it's caught by Keyshawn Johnson. And he's one of the few who could make that catch.
He is really something, you know. And you talk about Keyshawn Johnson being 6'3", and we know that he's a big tackle, but I mean a big target. But he's not only a big target for his quarterback, he's a big target for defensive backs. But he is a tough guy
and not afraid.
No, he's not afraid. He's not afraid of anything. And he'll stretch out, and he'll get stretched out and take some big hits.
He just took one, a 15-yard gain. Keyshawn's in the slot right. Brad Johnson trying to change the play again. Last time they couldn't get this done.
This is what he calls a check. He's checking to another play.
Protection's good. Keyshawn. Flag is down. Flag is down. It's in the direction of Riddell Anthony. But the flag went down early. Riddell was tripped.
And that was a check. In fact, Brad Johnson says he's going to have to make about 5 or 6 checks in this game, and they're all to big plays.
Illegal contact. Defense. First down.
Now, illegal contact is if you do it before the ball is in the air. You see, he grabbed him once, he grabbed him twice, he grabbed him 3 times. Now, if the ball is in the air, that would be pass interference. If not, it's defensive holding, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Mike McKenzie.
And what they're saying is that Mike McKenzie grabbed him before the ball was in the air.
So it's a first down at the 46 now for Tampa Bay.
And McKenzie didn't only grab him, he grabbed him 3 times. Twice grabbed as he went down the field.
Here comes the Packer blitz up the middle, and they get there. I don't know who was first. Nate Wayne and Bernardo Harris same time.
They're bringing, Wayne comes from the outside. Harris is coming from straight up the middle. Bernardo Harris was the first guy there. Then Wayne kept fighting, and then there was a third guy coming from the outside. That was what you call a jailbreak. When you get 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 guys there in the quarterback, that's a jailbreak.
6th time Brad Johnson's been sacked.
Brad Johnson, if he doesn't get rid of the ball quickly, he's a sack target back there.
That is Warwick Dunn, who made the carry over the right side, and he was stopped abruptly.
Like a Brett Favre can get some pressure, and he can still move around, move his body sideways and stuff like that. Dante Culpepper, he can run with it and buy some time. But Brad Johnson, if he's back there and he doesn't get rid of it, there's going to be a whole bunch of guys jump on him.
Well, he had one 21-yard scramble in the first half, but for the most part, you're right. He's not a sitting duck, but he's not a real movable target either.
Yeah, the only time he can get to the outside is if the defensive ends, these guys here take an inside move and get caught inside.
They're showing blitz again, but they don't. And Brad Johnson fires complete. That's enough, I believe, for the first down to Carl Williams.
They had Kabir Bajabiamila blocked on that one. We talked about Kenyatta Walker having to block him and needing help, and they gave him help. And if they don't do that, it's right here. Well, it's up on top. It's where you just saw. And he makes that throw in there. But the guy that they have to block is Bajabiamila.
Dave Moore.
See, and Dave Moore stays in there with him to help that guy right there, Kenyatta Walker, who still almost got beat with an inside move.
Brad Johnson back to throw it. Time, lots of time. He has a man open. It's Keyshawn. Incomplete, knocked away by McKenzie, who is back there with him. He waited a little too long again.
Yeah, that's the thing, but he had good pass protection that time. Mike McKenzie is back there with Keyshawn Johnson, and I think what he's trying to do is just throw up a jump ball. Like you see, what Mike McKenzie thought there first was they're going to go underneath. Neither one of those guys have great speed. If either one of them had speed, they would have made the play. Mike McKenzie is a good corner, but he's not a real fast corner. And, of course, Keyshawn Johnson is a good possession receiver and doesn't have a great deal of speed.
All stop. Still fighting, but too many Packers.
He's hard to bring down, but he sure does draw a crowd, doesn't he?
Yep.
I mean, they came in here. Mike Allstott had a big game last week against the Minnesota Vikings, and the Packers watch that tape all week, and they say he's not going to do that to us. And they're not going to let him do that to him. But I'll tell you, Mike Allstott will get stronger, and his type of running will get stronger in the fourth quarter than it is in the first, second, or third.
Brad Johnson in the shotgun. Keyshawn coming back to bunch it. And that's where Brad's looking. Ducks under. Nothing there. Todd McBride came over to take him down.
Yeah, Todd McBride is the dime defensive back. The Packers use 4 defensive backs, and they go to 5 and 6 defensive backs. Todd McBride is the 6th defensive back, and you see him here. He just blitzes from the outside, comes all around the corner, and makes the tackle on Brad Johnson.
Warwick Dunn was trying to block him.
Warwick Dunn should. I mean, that's not a mismatch. One of the things people do to Warwick Dunn to keep him in there is to make him have to block.
Rossums at the 8. Call the 9. That's the end of the third quarter with the score. Tampa Bay 17, Green Bay 14. Fox NFL Sunday from Green Bay will continue after a word from your local Fox station.
You're watching the NFL on Fox.
Watney Chevrolet says, buy new, buy now. And we'll show you how with unbelievable dealer invoice pricing and interest-free financing. The hard-to-get 2002 Chevrolet Camaro. Dealer invoice price, 0% interest. How about the 2002 Tahoes, Suburbans, and the all-new Trailblazers? That's right, dealer pricing, interest-free. You pay what we pay. Bottom line, guaranteed. Cavaliers, Silverados, and America's Car, the 2002 Impala. Dealer invoice pricing, 0% interest. Let's keep America rolling at Watney Chevrolet.
Ford drives America. And right now, Ford's making it easier for America to drive best-selling Ford trucks. 0% financing has been extended on all 2001 and 2002 Ford trucks, including Ford F-150, Ranger, Super Crew, even Super Duty. Nothing beats 0%, and nothing beats the money you'll save on America's best-selling trucks. See your local Ford dealer today. Hurry. 0% financing ends November 20th.
The Fox 13i team, the largest, most experienced investigative team on Memphis television. Powerful stories, groundbreaking investigations that get results. Les Smith, Allison Triarci, Al Dean, the Fox 13i team, weeknights at 5 and 9 on Fox 13 News. Monday, emergency teams scramble to investigate every anthrax threat. Who gets a thrill from creating panic and paranoia? Les Smith investigates on Fox 13 News Monday.
Hi, this is Shane Battier of the Memphis Grizzlies. You're watching sports on Fox 13.
To start the fourth quarter at Lambeau Field in Green Bay. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers leading the Packers 17-14.
That's a combination all these fans want is Lambeau Field, Brett Favre, Packers, fourth quarter.
Favre tried to throw the slant, played well by Ronde Barber.
You know, these corners,
Corey Bradford,
these corners now are really playing the slant better than the guys who run the slant. Watch Ronde Barber there. He's just looking into the backfield. When he sees three-step drop, he runs right to the point where the slant is going to be thrown.
2nd and 10. Green digging for extra yards.
Some good hitting going on down there.
Don't forget tonight, Game 7 of the World Series here on Fox. Clemens against Schilling. Yankees are 5-5, by the way. In Game 7s, the last one was in 1964. They lost to the Cardinals. That's all presented by Budweiser.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if you wanted to, say what's a competitor, or have the definition of a competitor, you could just put that picture up there of those two guys.
Both have won 20 games.
Put that in the dictionary. Competitor.
Buccaneers on a blitz. Favre gets rid of it and completes it to Antonio Freeman and gets the first down.
Hey, the Buccaneers are, believe that they're going to get those interceptions, and they're really going for them. Watch Ronde Barber there. You see, when you take, you can either take a collision angle or you can take an interception angle. But watch Brett Favre. He knows that he's going to get hit, but he steps in there and throws that ball.
Jamie Duncan had him in his sights. 1st and 10.
Ronde Barber took the interception angle and then didn't get the collision.
Lynch walking up. Amon Green, the carrier.
Amon Green.
We talked about Clemens and Schilling being competitors. I think this guy here is pretty good too, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
148 consecutive starts. I mean, that's
unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, in today's football, with all the blitzing and everyone going after the quarterback, the fact that he's been able to play in that many consecutive games, start that many consecutive games, and play at this level is amazing.
Hand off to Green again. Lynch came flying up. Simeon Rice on the bottom of the pile.
He just launched his body.
Didn't he?
Lynch did. That's one thing about him. You look at John Lynch, and here he is. He's a good-looking guy. He went to Stanford. He was a baseball player. He was drafted. In fact, he threw fastball, 95-mile-an-hour fastball. And then he's the hardest hitter. I mean, look at him. I mean, clean-looking, got the whole thing. Stanford, from Solano Beach, California.
I don't know if I ever heard you say anybody was a good-looking guy before.
Yeah, no, but he kind of, but and then I get back to clean dirt.
Here's Favre, up the middle, incomplete. Bradford, the intended receiver.
This is the thing about this Tampa Bay defense, that you have to be patient, and that's one of the problems Brett Favre has with that is Brett Favre, by nature, is not a real patient guy. And you have to, take some of the things that they give you, and do those types of things. And it's a hard game for a Brett Favre to play against this defense.
It's a good kick. Carl Williams back to take it, and does. And Williams has got an alley. And he took advantage of it and gets it up to the 40. And that's where the Bucs will take over. Brad Johnson loosening on the sideline.
Hey, you want to switch? Here.
Introducing the all-new Chevy Avalanche. The only vehicle that switches from an SUV to a pickup.
Good idea.
Chevy Avalanche. Like a rock.
Is that the new Taco Bell chicken quesadilla?
Yeah.
Ah, the hot new handheld. Nice. Does it come with any games?
Oh, yeah. Now get a new chicken quesadilla with 3 melted cheeses or a medium or large drink and get a scratch to you in-game piece. You can instantly win an Xbox along with 4 hot new games rated every one your team or one of millions of other prizes. To get your hands on the hot new Xbox, you gotta think outside the bun.
In and out. Good. Keep the victim calm. And 1, and 2, and 3.
Okay, there you go. That's over 100 channels, sports, news, digital music. Installation's free, and it's only $31.99 a month.
Just $31.99 a month gets you over 100 channels of DirecTV programming. Right now with free professional installation.
So it was the digital music that... Yeah.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Taco Bell's new Chicken Quesadilla, by DirecTV, the #1 satellite entertainment provider, by Dr. Pepper, your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Be you, nothing's better, Dr. Pepper, and by UPS, the official delivery company of football fans everywhere.
That is the house that the late Vince Lombardi lived in when he was the coach here. And those great, great years for the Packers. Bart Starr, Paul Hornung, and Jim Taylor, and all the rest.
And that's a big, big part of the tradition of Green Bay.
Pass is caught by Jameel Cook out of the backfield.
You look at Brad Johnson, Pat, he's been sacked 7 times. Remember a couple weeks ago against the Steelers, he was sacked 10 times. He's been hit 3 times, hurried 6 times, but he hasn't thrown an interception. I mean, he will take sacks, but he takes pretty good care of the ball. On the other hand, Brett Favre hasn't been sacked yet, but he has the 2 interceptions.
He doesn't remember that day against Pittsburgh fondly. Here's offside. Allstott, as you said, gets stronger later in the game. He still weighs the same.
Yeah, and then he just, and then the offensive line just stay on there, guy. The defense starts to wear down a little. They're about a half a step slow where they used to get 5 and 6 guys. They're just going to zone block out here where they used to get 5 and 6 guys out there. Now there's only 1 or 2 on the tackle.
Good lead block by Jameel Cook.
Jameel Cook has had some good lead blocks. And anytime that Allstott plays tailback, Jameel Cook plays fullback.
This would be a good time to throw it. They'll give it to Allstott, but this would be a good time to throw it. I don't know if he got it or not.
Yeah, I don't think you picture the Tampa Bay Buccaneers making those kind of plays. They kind of go right by the way football is supposed to, and short yardage running is going to be Mike Allstott, whether it's short yardage on the field or on the goal line.
And they're going to measure.
This is going to be all about the spot. Warren Sapp, you know what he's rooting for. He doesn't want to have
Warren is one of those guys who can make himself heard.
I don't know why Warren thinks he needs a jacket. I mean, this is a nice day here. Yeah, and he has plenty of stuff around him that he doesn't need that jacket.
What do you mean by that?
Plenty of, the stuff around his,
his uniform?
Bones and muscles. No, body.
Short.
Uh-oh.
Now do you go?
This is a big decision. I would think you just quarterback sneak it here, but then you're going to give the Packers another shot at you. I would quarterback sneak it here. They're not going to. I mean, you asked me what I would do.
Yeah.
But this is the way Tampa Bay plays. I mean, they believe in their defense. They gave Mike Allstott a shot to get the first down. He didn't get it, so they're going to punt.
Allen Rossum back deep for Green Bay. And the Buccaneers have a lot of respect for him. Royals to punt it.
The Buccaneers also have a lot of respect for their defense.
This is a good kick by Royals. Rossum signals fair catch at the 10. So the Packers will have a long way to go. 17-14, 10 and a half minutes left.
For the people that I call my friends, we're just getting started when the long day ends. This bug's for you, and you, and you, and you. This bug's for you.
There is the world you know, and one you can only imagine. Where you can navigate satellites, or fly without ever leaving the ground. Where you can live in the future before it even arrives. When you cross into the blue, everything is different and important. Especially you.
Change for $1.
Sure. Introducing the all-new Chevy Avalanche. The only vehicle that changes from an SUV to a pickup.
Thanks.
Chevy Avalanche. Like a rock.
Fox tomorrow.
I'm pregnant. You're pregnant?
With a controversial school policy.
Once you begin the show, you leave Winslow High.
Push a student over the edge.
What happened? Denise?
The hit series Boston Public, all new tomorrow on Fox. Get ready for Judge Ling on an all-new Alley tomorrow on Fox.
10:31 left to play. Tampa Bay 17, Green Bay 14.
You can see what we're talking about here. Brett Favre hasn't been sacked yet. He's been hit and hurried, but he does have the 2 interceptions.
And Tampa Bay took advantage of both of them. Here's Green. Come on, Green. Out to about the 18.
When in life do you not need a belt? Or then you have a belt, then you don't have to buckle it?
Well, if you're Warren Sapp.
Yeah. You see, Warren Sapp, here's the buckle, here's the belt, and you just look right there. If the pants are so tight that you don't need a belt, then you put a belt on anyway, then you don't have to buckle it.
Green again. Not much that time. Packers have 178 yards passing and 174 yards rushing. That's pretty good balance.
Yeah, but the thing is that they're behind 17-14, and to me they look sluggish offensively today. They haven't, they've had a play here and a play there, but they haven't been able to string a lot of them together. And again, that goes back to patience, and that goes back to this Buck defense.
3rd and 2. Green is deep.
Now the Packers will pass in this situation.
Yes, they will. Favre is going to go, and that's going to be out of bounds. Incomplete.
Yeah, they've done this a couple times. You see, they fake it's a bootleg, and then he comes out here to the right, but the farther he goes to the right, the more that he shrinks his field. And then that brings all the defenders. You see all those white jerseys over there, and then just one receiver, and he's up against the line, and there's no place to throw it. He threw an interception in that same situation earlier.
So Bidwell's back to kick. And Carl Williams deep.
Tony Dungy made a good decision in not going for that 4th down play.
Yeah, as it turns out.
Because he'll get the ball back in about the same plays with 1st down.
9 minutes left. The Bucks by 3.
This Thanksgiving, one man's future is in the past.
It is the year 1328.
Now he's tripping.
Who be ye? Who be I? I'll be stomping your butt. You put your hand on me one more again.
He's freaking.
Damn. Y'all really know how to make a brother feel welcome?
He's jamming.
With these hands, I make fire.
We have fire.
He's Martin Lawrence.
911, white man down.
Black Knight, rated PG-13.
I holler.
November 21st, only in theaters.
You are a cyberjock. You bid on memorabilia. You're addicted to fantasy football. You outscore your kids in the sports PC game. You need more memory, tough guy.
Fantasy freeze up.
Don't let your system slow you down. A memory upgrade from Crucial.com can speed up your computer so you can keep up with the pros. You are a cyberjock. Crucial.com. The memory experts.
Saturn is working to keep our economy strong. In jobs, in commerce, and in spirit. As part of that effort, we're providing interest-free financing on every new coupe, sedan, and wagon we make. Come visit your Saturn retailer and keep America rolling.
In just 2 days, the clock starts ticking on the television event of the season. 24.
You ever want to see your daughter again? Get me out of it!
TV Guide calls it the best new show of the year.
Get out!
Kiefer Sutherland stars. In 24, series premiere at 9, 8 Central, Fox, Tuesday.
It's late. 9:01 left.
I'll tell you, that think cold didn't work today, did it? Well, that old deal that Tampa Bay has never won a game when the temperature's been under 40 degrees. It's not going to reach 40 degrees.
Johnson back, throwing deep to the referee, who throws the flag. Darren Sharper back with Carl Williams.
And that was one of the things that Brad Johnson was talking about, the shots that he had to take, and they're all deep ones. Whenever he gets any type of one-on-one out there, he's just going to throw it up. Done that about 4 times today.
We have 2 fouls on the play. Holding, number 42, defense is declined. Pass interference, number 42, defense is accepted. 1st down.
Again, the holding is when it happens before the ball's in the air. So the first one will be holding on Sharper, and he comes into the picture right there. That's a hold before the ball is there, or he probably held before that.
He
and then after the ball was in the air, then that becomes pass interference.
First down, Tampa Bay.
They look kind of simultaneous there, unless he held before that.
Allstott is the deep man. And they give to him. Not much. Right now for a game break. Let's return to James Brown in Los Angeles.
Pat and John, 17 points scored in the second half by the Giants. Block punt there by Tabiti Davis, giving the Giants the ball at the 14. They capitalized. Kerry Collins play action, hooking up with Ike Hilliard, 9-yard strike. It is now all tied at 24. That in the fourth with 8:08 left to play. Back to Pat and John.
And back at Lambeau in Green Bay.
You see that block punt there? It just kind of blocked and stayed right where it was blocked.
Keyshawn Johnson on the move. Here comes the Packer blitz. Sharper. Allstott dodges him. And Allstott gets to about the 34-yard line.
Oh, Sharper was coming on that blitz, and remember over the years it had always been Leroy Butler who was doing the blitzing, and he's still the strong safety. Darren Sharper is a weak safety, and you're going to see him come right here. And then Allstott looks like he goes to make the cutback, and he looks as he cuts back, and he sees Sharper there, and he says, "Oops!" And he starts to go the other way.
Third down and 10.
But safeties are a big part of today's football in stopping the run.
And a big part of blitzing. Screen pass. Warwick Dunn doesn't get the first down.
The Packers played that one a lot better than they did one earlier. Remember, then they had 3rd and long, and they threw a screen pass to Warwick Dunn, and he made a first down out of it.
Here comes Martin Gramatica from Argentina.
Well, they got enough yardage for him to try this kick.
By way of LaBelle, Florida, where he learned how to kick. He has 2 brothers who are place kickers, and good, they say. Gramatica is straight and true.
My man Gramatica,
49 yards out.
Look, he's fighting guys down. He wants some action. Even has dirt on his jersey. Now we're talking.
Hey, Dad, what's that?
That's a pink flamingo.
What's that?
Bullfrog.
What's that?
That, son, is a Chevy Monte Carlo.
If you want to see 700 horses under a hood, spend a day by the lake at the famous Daytona infield. But bring your Visa card, the official card of NASCAR.
Isn't nature great?
Visa, it's everywhere NASCAR fans want to be.
There's a light in your soul that says you're one of a kind. Don't never let it go. Be original, an individual, like Dr. Pepper. Be you, do what you do. Dr. Pepper. Be you, do what you do. Nothing better. Be you, do what you do.
Go. First, make sure your mirrors are right. Okay. Don't forget this one over here. All right. Okay. Okay. Make sure it's in first. All right. Put on the brake. All right. Okay. Okay. Whoa. Just take your foot. There you go.
Hey, we're going over the lawn. Back to the driveway.
Help protect the ones you value most. Call a State Farm agent today.
The best part of breaking up,
I still care about you,
is making up. But are Eric and Donna really back together?
Oh, yeah.
God, no.
Find out.
I'm going to need details.
There will be details in my steamy letter to Penthouse. Okay, my mom's still behind me, isn't she?
That 70s Show, all new at 8/7 Central, Fox Tuesday.
at Lambeau Field. Pat Summerall with John Madden. 20-14. Tampa Bay leads Green Bay. Gramatica about to kick off. Short kick. Rossum will field it at about the 16. And the Packers get the ball at about their own 34.
We're looking at Martin Gramatica on that last play. We saw him earlier here. It's been a real physical game for him here. He got knocked down. Telling the official about a guy hit in the back of the head. And he makes one, and he gets excited. And he starts taking on guys, and guys just look at him and just push him.
Like it Jerry won.
Yeah, and then he comes with another one. He gets knocked right out of frame.
Well, they finally got him settled down now.
About a month ago, I said that his uniform looked like a kid going on Halloween trick-or-treating.
Here's Favre. Going deep. Incomplete. Corey Bradford just out of his reach.
So anyway, I said that that he looked like so he gave me this helmet right here, and he autographed. So I carry it with me everywhere now, and what it says is,
have you worn it?
Yeah, no. To Coach Madden, happy Halloween from your biggest fan, Martin Gramatica, number 7, go Bucks. So wherever I go, I just keep that hat right there. He has a good sense of humor. I mean, I was kidding, but I mean, you look at that uniform, and it looks like something you'd buy in a store, and you take a kid and you go trick or treat, and he'd be Martin Gramatica.
That helmet doesn't look like you'd want to wear it in combat.
No, I don't wear it on my head.
It just goes with you. Here's Favre. Outside, complete to Charles Lee, knocked backwards, but held on.
We have word that Donnie Abraham has a back contusion, and he's out of this game. Again, he wasn't starting anyway. Brian Kelly was starting at that position, but Donnie Abraham was playing the nickelback. Gramatica looks like he's had a little too much physical action today.
Right? No. I think he's just thinking.
No, I don't think so. I think, that deal when he was pointing to the back of his head?
Yeah.
Third head for this big helmet.
Here comes the blitz. And Favre has to get out of there. And ball's loose. He dropped the ball. That was Lynch who came flying up. No, it wasn't Lynch. It was Abraham. Packers did get the ball.
And they got the ball.
Dexter Jackson knocked it out of his hands.
And you watch him right there. As I say, Dexter Jackson was up there. We talk about blitzing. Dexter Jackson is a free safety. He comes here, and with his right hand, he knocks it out of Brett Favre's hands. Then the old right tackle, Mark Tauscher, has done a pretty good job of blocking today. Picked it up.
Carl Williams back deep. The Packer punt sails in his direction. Fair catch. And he just does make it. It almost got over his head. Flag on the play. 4:55 left. Let's see what the penalty is.
Yeah, there's a flag right back there in the 30-yard line. Johnny Greer again, our referee.
Holding against Tampa Bay.
Ooh, and that's an automatic first down. Defensive holding, it'll be an automatic first down.
Unless the ball was already in the air.
Change of possession. Yeah, post-possession. Then it would be, in fact, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be
after the
holding
kick,
on the return after the
holding
kick.
Number 52 of the receiving team. Tampa retains the ball after enforcement of his penalty.
Nate Webster is number 52. Tonight it's Game 7 of the World Series presented by Budweiser. A confrontation between two 20-game winners, Roger Clemens and Curt Schilling. Game 7 begins tonight at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, here on Fox. Not going to miss it.
No, heck no. As I go across the hinterlands here, I can be watching that.
Allstott's the deep back. And they give to Mike Allstott. And a flag on the play.
Yeah, and that's going to be a tough one. That's going to be in the area of offensive holding, and I bet it's Randall McDaniel. Randall McDaniel does hold a lot. He's a good guard, and he used to be, very good, but he has bad knees, and he can't bend his knees anymore, and he tends to grab a little more than, I'm not saying that was on him, but if I had to guess who it was on, I would guess Randall McDaniel.
Holding, number 60, offense. Still first down.
Number 60
was Cozy Coleman. That's the other guard.
He had the right position.
I mean, the way Randall McDaniel blocks now is he clamps with both hands. So he starts on every running play. He starts on a hold.
First and 16. The Bucs back at their own 6. Allstott standing in the end zone.
And when you got big old Gilbert there, you better hold on to something, and you have a pretty good target to hold on to.
Here comes Sharper. Now he comes out to cover the outside. And here's Brad Johnson scrambling. John Theory chased him down.
Yeah, see what Sharper's doing here is he starts to come, and then he sees Allstott going out, and he just goes out with him.
That's probably what he was supposed to do on that touchdown by Allstott.
Well, it could have been, because remember, he was the closest guy hitting Allstott as he went into the end zone. So we used to call that a green dog, is you come on a dog or a blitz, but if the guy blocks you, you just keep coming. But if he goes out, you peel off and cover him.
Somebody's got to cover him. Johnson to Allstott. Tackle by McKenzie.
McKenzie had to make that tackle because that was it was awfully easy to get outside that corner. I mean, watch how easy it is for Allstott to get outside here. Right there, and the only guy there that's going to make that tackle is Mike McKenzie. And that's what a corner has to do, because you're the last line of defense.
Especially with Allstott.
Right, and if you don't make that play, it's going to be a big play.
Less than 3.5 minutes left. The Bucs are 3 out of 13 today on third down conversions. Johnson just gets rid of it. And no flags. Tyrone Williams hit him in the back just as he got rid of it.
He was rolling to the right, and Tyrone Williams was coming on a blitz, and as you said, just as he throws, here's Tyrone Williams. He comes off the corner. See, Brad Johnson rolling to the right, doesn't see him at all, and he could have run. Tyrone Williams could have run right through him. Looked like he pulled up a little before he hit him.
Out of the end zone for Royals. Rossum is going to field it about the 45. Up the middle is Rossum with room. That's the guy that scared him, and he's going to scare him more. There's a flag on the play. A flag drop back at about the 25. Rossum took it all the way, but a penalty marker down.
We have a 5-yard face mask on the kicking team. The penalty is declined. Touchdown.
There's the 5-yard penalty right there for face mask. But it doesn't make any difference because Rossum just ran right through it.
Sheldon Quarles tried to take him down by the mask.
Tony Dungy told us last night, Rossum worries me if he's healthy.
Yep.
We saw him practice on Friday, knew he was healthy.
Just getting back to 100%.
I tell you who was a big part of that play was Mike McKenzie in that tackle.
Longwell makes the Packers have the lead at 21-20. Here it is again.
Yeah, and that's the thing that you want to do as a punt returner. You don't go right and left. You just get it as quickly as you can, going straight up the middle. Look at this. You see, you don't wait for anything. And again, Tampa Bay didn't have good lane discipline. When they let Rossum have that lane, and it was the lane that took you right up the middle. You have punt return, you have a right return, a left return, or a middle return. That was a middle return, and Alan Rossimer really hit it.
That's his first punt return touchdown of his career. He has 2 on kickoff returns, but first punt return. And the Pack leads 21-20.
And when these two teams play, this is the kind of game you're going to have.
They're always close.
Talk about what you do in the first half, what they do in the third quarter, but it's going to come down usually to this last 2 minutes of football.
Well, 3:03 left when the Packers kick off. Back deep is Aaron Stecker.
A lot of times we talk about what the offense is going to do and what the defense is going to do, and we forget what the special teams are going to do, and the special teams just did something real big there for the Green Bay Packers.
Aaron Stecker, who will probably return this kick, went to high school, we mentioned earlier, here in Green Bay.
He only lived a couple blocks from here.
And Stecker slipped down at the 20. Try to get back up and go again. Next week, it's a Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader, beginning with America's #1 pregame show. JB, Terry, Howie, and Chris will get you ready for the kickoff, followed by an NFC Central battle between these Packers and the division-leading Bears. Then the Saints battle the 49ers in an NFC West showdown. There are other regional action. Coverage begins at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, here on Fox.
His old Gilbert Brown was down there jumping up and down trying to fire this crowd up. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have won 2 games this season after trailing during the fourth quarter.
Brad Johnson back to throw is hit just as he lets it go. But Keyshawn Johnson somehow manages to come down with it at the 45. He got the rebound.
John Theory is going to hit him just as he throws it. And it's amazing that he could get this much on it to get the ball there to Keyshawn Johnson.
Amazing he can catch it.
You see right there, John Theory hits him just as he was stepping up.
It's a heck of a catch, too.
Yeah, that's a one-handed catch because that ball was high and behind him. But those are the kind of plays that Keyshawn Johnson makes.
And that's why they got him. Brad Johnson trying to change the play, but there's a lot of noise at Lambeau now. Packers showing blitz, long count. And Gilbert Brown is clapping.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 64, offense.
There's Randall McDaniel. If there's one guy you wouldn't think would jump, it would be Randall McDaniel.
Yeah, usually the center never jumps. The guards don't jump as much because they're right next to the center and the ball. And the guys that usually jump are someone's going to jump in pass protection or the tackle.
Now they put in the pass rushing troops.
And this is the guy that they have to worry about here, Bajabiamila.
Somebody's got to help. There's the help. And there's the pass. Warwick Dunn tried to help. And we're going to get the 2-minute warning.
Big play by Vonnie Holiday. Huh? That's just a hustle play. You just keep hustling until you get them.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Saturn, now with 2 distinctively different car lines, the L Series and S Series.
Saturn is working to keep our economy strong in jobs, in commerce, and in spirit. As part of that effort, we're providing interest-free financing on every new coupe, sedan, and wagon we make. Come visit your Saturn retailer and keep America rolling.
Last winter, we had a little cell phone mix-up.
He told our travel agent Steamboat Springs, but with the static, well...
You know, we tried to make the best of it.
Come on, kids.
There we go.
Who wants hot cocoa? That's when we finally got free and clear with Sprint PCS. Real clear calls, and nationwide long distance included, which is great for us because we do have 2 kids.
Hey!
The Sprint PCS free and clear plan with nationwide long distance included. Every minute, every day.
Come follow the footsteps of Michael McGee,
A foolish and forgetful fellow was he. The mournful moan of a man all alone goes a little something like this. Should he use Prestone? Now he's sneezing and wheezing and his poor toes are freezing. Oh, poor baby. Scary things happen in Prestone season. I see 2 tickets to the Super Bowl in your future. I do, I swear, my vision is my gift. Swing by your favorite Prestone retailer for your chance to win.
Back at Lambeau Field, 21-20. The Packers lead. It's 2nd down long. Those of you who saw Miami beat Carolina, welcome to Lambeau Field, Green Bay. Pass incomplete. Intended for Anthony. The defender's Mike McKenzie. Good play.
Yeah, Mike McKenzie's made a couple of big plays. We talked about that play right there. Then earlier, before Rossum's punt return, Mike McKenzie made a big tackle on Mike Allstott in the open field, and then that gave him that long yardage situation. And if it weren't for that tackle, a lot of things could have been different.
Mike Allen Rossum's 55-yard punt return put the Packers ahead. Just a few moments ago, here comes the Packer blitz. Johnson. Brad Johnson gets rid of it. Incomplete. No flag. Riddell Anthony, the target again. For those of you who just joined us, here's a brief summary of the game. Favre, 16 out of 27, 2 interceptions, 1 touchdown. Johnson, 17 of 27, 2 TDs, 166 yards. But the key play has been Rossum's 55-yard punt return.
And until that, the thing that kept the Bucs in the game were the turnovers by the Packers.
Rossum back deep, and the Bucs are going to punt it.
Yeah, and this, with 4th and so long, I think this is a good play. Now you rely on your defense, and you do have 2 timeouts.
And Rossum stays away from it. It takes a Packer bounce, and now the Bucs down it. A minute 35. Some of the second half highlights. This pass from Johnson to Allstott. The Bucs' 2nd touchdown. They got 2 field goals after that. Here's Amon Green from 66 yards away. He got the Packers back close, and here's Rossum's punt return that put him ahead with Longwell's extra point. And that's the way it stands now, 21-20. Green Bay leads Tampa Bay.
And now Tampa Bay needs their defense, and they're going to have to use their timeouts right away. I mean, unless there's an incomplete pass. If they run the ball, they're going to have to stop and call timeout right now.
Amon Green gets very little, and there's one of those timeouts. Today's game is being produced by Bob Stenner, directed by Sandy Grossman. The associate directors, Mike Roig. Broadcast associates are Charles McDonald and Kerry Kloster. Technical producer is Bob Muller. Pre-game show is produced by Scott Agnerson, directed by Bob Levy. The senior producer is Bill Brown. The executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gorin and David Hill. Tampa Bay down to 1 timeout now. Remember, they had to use one early in the second half when they couldn't get a play straight.
Yeah, and that's why sometimes, I'm not second-guessing, but maybe I am. Sometimes I think you're better to take the 5-yard penalty for delay of game and keep that timeout for situations like this where you need the 3 timeouts in a bunch.
Reggie White's enjoying things. 2nd and about 9.
A different form of enjoyment, though.
Green. Favre keeps the ball on the far side of the field, rolling left, and now Tampa Bay will have to...
Yeah, if he tried to get him on that keeper.
Yep.
He just watched Warren Sapp here.
Green.
Yeah. He got Green. But look at Sapp. He's looking at Green. He says, where's the ball? And the ball was on the other side. That's what they do so well, but they didn't fool everyone.
Amon Green has 162 yards rushing today. That's a new career high for him. His previous career high was 161 at Minnesota last year. So for him, 162 yards, 23 carries, and the 1 touchdown.
See, now what the Packers have to do is, even though it is 3rd and long, they have to run the ball here to make, to get the clock going. Because if they throw an incomplete pass, then that would stop the clock.
And be playing right into Tampa Bay's hand.
And Tampa Bay doesn't have any more timeouts. So even though, again, as I said, it's 3rd and long, this has to be a run.
If they force a punt, of course, they'll stop the clock or change the possession. Here's Green. And he almost broke it.
This is what offensive linemen do between plays. You just kind of loosen up your lips because you never know when you're going to get that uppercut.
Well, you never know what's going to happen after the game either. Carl Williams back deep.
And now they are going to get the ball. As you say, the clock will stop and change the possession. But if you look down here on the play clock, they have 12 seconds that they can take off before they punt.
And they're going to wait as long as they can. Might even take a penalty, huh? Now they call timeout.
Well, they got it down to 33, and
now the clock won't start till they snap it now.
No, and then it'll stop after the return,
right?
Because that'll be change of possession.
Packers leading by a point, 21-20 after the Buccaneers led most of the way.
And the Bucs are going to get the ball back here, but. And again, all they need is field goal position, but they have no timeouts.
Lawrence Sapp is really mad.
Well, that was the job that they had to do when they decided to not go for it on 4th down, 4th and long, that they were going to put the pressure on the defense, expect the defense to do this, and give up that 4th down try for this situation that's coming up.
Line drive kick. Williams is going to return it, and now the clock will stop with 24 seconds.
And they need about 25 or 30 yards, the Bucs do, to get into Martin Gramatica's field goal range.
And then they're going to have to hustle to get the field goal team out there.
And so they can't do it with a lot of plays. I mean, if they're going to get 25 or 30 yards, they better get it in one big chunk right away or in 2 very quick chunks.
He has hit from 55 yards last year. 24 seconds. Now the clock starts. Brad Johnson fired. And Keyshawn Johnson comes down with it. Now they got to really hurry.
Yeah, they have to hurry up and spike the ball. It is the 1st down.
And that's too far.
Ooh, I don't know if that's a spike.
It hit somebody on the way. It is a spike, yeah.
Johnny Greer said that was a spike. That was close to being a fumble.
It hit the offensive lineman.
I don't know about this one. Because watch this. He's gonna come up. Yeah, that was a fumble, I think.
Slipped out of his hand.
Unless, again, his arm was going forward. If it's a fumble, the game's over.
We have the pass illegally touching a lineman on the offense. That's a 5-yard penalty, still 1st down.
The pass, he calls it.
Well, if the ball on the way down, that didn't touch anyone. That didn't touch an offensive lineman.
From this angle, it looks like it might have hit the foot of the center, but I don't know.
On a bounce,
on
though. If it hit any lineman, it hit him on a bounce, and to be a pass, it has to hit him on a fly. I mean, they had the wrong, they wanted to call something, they called the wrong thing.
I think something's going on here. The Packers are going to call a timeout.
Now, remember, in the last 2 minutes now, the review has to come from
upstairs.
It can't be challenged from the team on the field.
And that's what's going on right now.
This has to be a review, and again, they're reviewing, was that a spike or was that a fumble?
Well, his arm started down, but the ball might have come loose in his hand before it ever started down.
Well, again, that thing, his arm, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what they're going to call the rule on, because if his arm's going forward, then it's a forward pass. But That is a fumble. I mean, he had the ball up there, and he fumbled it out of his hand. And then he almost went to jump on, and then they called hitting an offensive lineman. It didn't hit an offensive lineman.
After reviewing the play should have been ruled a fumble. The whistle was blown for incomplete pass. The ball will be placed at the 49-yard line. There is no foul for illegal touching.
Now, whose ball is it if it's ruled a fumble?
I don't know that anyone picked it up. Remember, Brad Johnson started to go pick it up, but they say that they blew the whistle.
The Packers picked it up.
Yeah, no, but they say they blew the whistle before anyone picked it up.
Oh, I see.
Therefore, it still has to be the Buccaneers' ball. But they can't take that 5-yard penalty. They have to give them back the 5 yards, but then bring the spot back to where the ball went down. Because no one did recover that fumble. I don't know what they blew the whistle based upon.
Meantime, there are 9 seconds left. He's going to have another look, I think.
We got some confusion reigning down there.
You're looking for Mike Sherman.
He's telling him that someone blew the whistle. Of course, anytime the whistle is blown, everything stops. Nothing counts after the whistle's blown. That's what, if there's anything you hate as a coach, it's that word inadvertent. They used to say that inadvertent whistle.
Yeah.
And that's the one that Mike Sherman knows, because you know how big this is if it is a fumble, which it was a fumble, and they said it was a fumble, the game's over.
Yeah.
But then because they blew the whistle, now they're saying that they get another play.
Well, 9 seconds left.
Let's see if we can hear the whistle. You see, the whistle did blow before anyone did pick it up. So the whistle blew before the Packers picked it up. I don't know why the whistle blew, but I guess he was saying it was an incomplete pass.
I think that's what they thought.
Then he looked and it was a fumble, but because he blew his whistle, he couldn't go back to fumble.
Meantime, there's only 9 seconds left. So this is going to be the last play unless something drastic happens. Or they get a completion and get out of bounds and then try a field goal. They got to throw this at the sideline. Brad Johnson back. Throws it away. 1 second left.
Now this is the one you have to throw this in the end zone.
That's the only hope.
Martin Gramatica wants to kick this.
From 67 yards? You got to be kidding.
No, well, he wants to. I don't know that he can. Look at him.
But does he really want to?
Yeah, he really wants. He really wants to try. I'll tell you this, he has enough adrenaline in him.
Yeah. 2-man rush. Johnson fires over the head of everybody. And the pass is incomplete. And the Packers have won 21-20 over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tony Dungy has lost 6 in a row. They're now 0-12 on their visits to the north.
Clemens and the Yankees face Schilling and the revived D-backs to decide one of the greatest fall classics ever. Game 7 of the World Series, tonight on Fox.
King of the Hill, 5 nights a week on Fox 13. Hank Hill on baseball.
Stop looking at me, boy! Watch the ball!
Hank Hill on football.
I don't want you going to Dallas at all. That place is crawling with crackheads and debutantes. And half of them play for the Cowboys.
Hank Hill on coaching.
You know, Coach used to say something that would fire us up when we were behind.
Yeah? What?
Loser! You're a loser!
King of the Hill, weeknights at 6 on Fox 13. The Fox 13i team, the largest, most experienced investigative team on Memphis television. Powerful stories, groundbreaking investigations that get results. Les Smith, Allison Triarci, Al Dean, the Fox 13i team, weeknights at 5 and 9 on Fox 13 News.
The leaves are falling on your lawn as we speak.
We'll show you the easiest ways to get rid of them. Monday on Fox 13's Good Morning Memphis.
Monday, emergency teams scramble to investigate every anthrax threat. Who gets a thrill from creating panic and paranoia? Les Smith investigates on Fox 13 News Monday.
Intel and the Intel Pentium 4 processor, the center of your digital world.
This play of the game is brought to you by Dr. Pepper. Allen Rossum is number 20. At this point, Tampa Bay was ahead 20-14, 55 yards out. Rossum didn't make too many fancy moves. There was a face mask penalty on the return, which they declined. And Rossum tied it at 20. Ryan Longwell made it 21-20, and that's the final score. This is Pat Summerall for John Madden and Ron Pitt saying so long from Green Bay, where once again the final score, Green Bay 21, Tampa Bay 20. Right now, let's take you to the Autotrader.com postgame show with JB, Terry, Howie, and Chris. For more information on today's games and the latest NFL news, log on to FoxSports.com, the official sports site of the Internet.
The Autotrader.com postgame show is brought to you by Autotrader.com, the biggest, best used car site on the planet.
Sports fans will want to stay tuned later on tonight here on Fox. Game 7 of the World Series. New York Yankees taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks. It'll be Clemens and Schilling going at it in Game 7 right here on Fox, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 4:30 p.m. Pacific Time. Again, later tonight right here on Fox. So the Green Bay Packers improved to 5-2 with that 1-point victory over the Tampa Bay Bucks. The Bucks dropped to 3-4, and we take you back out to Green Bay and rejoin Ron Pitts.
Alan, you were hurt earlier in the year, had a hamstring and missed 4 games, but everybody was saying as soon as you come back, it's going to be a big difference in the special teams, and it was today.
I'll tell you what, those 4 games seem like about 10 or 12 games. You know, I felt a little rusty today, but, you know, kind of warmed up in the second half, and I really got into the game, and I'm just thankful and blessed that I had the opportunity to step out on this field one more time. I give all the glory to God.
I know you had to let a couple go, and I know you fair caught some, but did you have a feeling all day that you could get something on these guys, anything you saw in films?
Well, I knew that my guys were doing a tremendous job up front. You know, we got a couple of short kicks, and I knew that if we had one that was a little longer than 35, 40 yards, we'd have a chance to return one. We got that opportunity, and like I said, let's give all the glory to God.
All right, good luck next week. All right, JB, back to you.
All right, Ron, thank you very much. So for the 12th straight year, the Tampa Bay Bucks go into Green Bay and come out winless. Again, Green Bay impressive.
All right, Warren Sapp scouting out the old game plan against his man, Brett Favre. Now, Johnson, the quarterback for Bucks, all-out blitz, launching him to the wide flare. Mike Allstott takes it in, 19 yards touchdown. Great play, 17-7 Tampa Bay. And then finally, Chris Collinsworth said on our pregame show, get in the eye, give it to Ramon Green, get the running game going. He does, 63-yard touchdown out of the eye. It's 21-20 will be a final based on this. Allen Rossum, punt return, up to the inside, bang, takes on the speed, back to the outside. Celebration starts, flag on the play. It was against Tampa Bay that was